Hello guys, today I'm gonna explain you the XMLHttp request object, but first of all I need to set up a server. To set up a server I'm gonna use Node.js and Express. So first of all I'm gonna set the root path as static files in the public folder. Then I'm gonna create a new route called API, and then for every request to this route I'm gonna answer with a hello client. After that I'm gonna have a post method to the API post, and then I'm gonna parse every data that someone sends to me. After parsing every data, I'm gonna answer with a JSON of that data, or in other words a JavaScript object. I'm gonna answer with a JavaScript object, and then I start the server listening on the 3000 port, and that's all. Let's get to the index.html. It's a simple HTML document as a template, I think. I got a script tag sourcing the home.js script, and in the home.js script I have the real thing. First of all, you need to know that, well, first you need to create a new instance of HTTP class. So you create a new instance of it, and most of the time you will not parse any arguments. So the other thing I want to talk about is that you need to create a new instance for every request you want to do. So you can't use the same instance for multiple requests or as much as I know. But if you know you can do it, just let me know in the comments how to do it. So in this case I'm gonna create two requests. The first one will be a get request, and the second one will be a post request. After doing that, I'm gonna set the already state change property of the first request. The already state change property is, let's say, a function that will execute every time the request change its state. So for example, the request change its state 4 times, so in those 4 times it will execute this function. In the situation I want to only execute what the code I want. In the situation I want to execute the code. I want to execute some code, but only when the request is ready. First, I'm gonna check if the ready state is equal to done, because done is like the number of the end of the request when you have already got the data or the answer from the server. But before doing that, let me explain this. Declaring an anonymous function as a property of an object means declaring a method, and a method has access to the object by this keyword. It doesn't work with arrow functions. If you don't believe me, just Google it. So that means that this .ready state is equal to XHR.readyState, because XHR is the main object I'm defining the property. So this will reference this object, right? And then explaining this, because I'm doing this .ready state, it means XHR.ready state, and this means this done equals to XHR.done. So by doing that, I am saying, in other words, hey, when or if the state is equal to completed, let's say, or done, I want to check if the status of the request is equal to 200, because in HTTP 200 means that the request is okay or it completed without problems. And if that two conditions are okay or are or match that conditions, I'm gonna alert a message, and after alerting the message I'm gonna log in the console the response type. This is a property of the object XMLHttpRequest. Then I'm gonna log the response, and sometimes it will be parsed as an array, a blob, a document, a JavaScript object, or a dump string. A dump string, in other words, is like any other string, so don't worry about that. Another thing, if you want the raw response, just do response.text. There's response text dot response text, and it will return the actual response without any parsing. Also, you can use response.url that will return the URL of the actual response. But you will say, oh, why I would like to do that if when I do the request I specify the URL. Well, you will want to do that when you request some API that does some redirects to other roads or other paths. Actually, when you receive the response, you don't know what path, you don't know in what path the request is. So this will be helpful for that. After defining the onReadyStateChange function, I'm gonna define the onReadyStateChange function of the post request, and it's almost the same. First checking the two conditionals, and then after that doing the same. So the other thing here is what to do to actually send the request or apply the request. You need to first do the open method. In the first argument you are going to pass the method, maybe get, maybe post, maybe options, maybe pot, maybe delete, whatever method you want to do. Then you are going to pass the URL. In my case, I'm using window.location.origin to actually retrieve this, but if I want, I just can put the string URL. And then in the third argument you have to put a boolean if true or false, if you want the request to be asynchronous or synchronous, because with true it will be asynchronous, and with false it will be synchronous. So if you put true, you can just do the request, and when you have the response you will execute the code. And if you put false, you will stop the code until you get the response. In some real application that will be bad, because you will like freeze the browser until you get the response, and that's quite awful. Then the other thing you need to do is apply the send method. The send method will actually send the request. In my case, in the get request, I don't want to send any data, so I will just leave it blank and just send the request, and it will execute all the code I put here, right? In the onReadyStateChange function. So then pass to the post request. In the post request, I'm gonna use the post method and the same URL. Well, not the same, just with different path and also asynchronous. And after executing the send method, I'm gonna set a request header with the content type declaring as application at www form URL encoded content type. This means that I can pass this data and the server will parse it as I don't know, form data, variable and value, and that's all. But you need to put the header first of what is the type of the content you are going to send, right? And after that, let's see how it works in executing, how we, I don't know how to say this, how we execute it. Okay, so first start the server, and after that I'm gonna reload the page. As you can see, I get the alert message, and I get that twice because I'm executing 2 requests. So as you can see, the response type, I don't get any response type, and that's because the server doesn't let me know what the response type, because I'm not answering what is the type of the response. Then in the response I get a JSON of the data I passed. So as you can see here in the home.js, I passed some data that is the first variable with Joshua and the last variable with Rodriguez. So with that data passed in the server, I'm just parsing the data and converting that into a JavaScript object, and after that returning a JSON of the JavaScript object. So that's why I get this, and the raw response is this, right? That's all. Then you got the response URL, and the same the same goes for the get request. You get the response, then after the raw response, and then you get the URL. And that's all. If you have some doubts or some questions, I will just leave the link of the documentation in the description, so you can read it slowly with time and understand how it works. Bye bye.